Hi guys, this is Max, welcome back to Max 3X, and welcome back to Ranking The Discography. So it's episode number 5 today. If this is the first time you were on the channel, this series is called Ranking The Discography, and I take one band and I rank the discography, from the album I like the less to the album I like the most. So the first 4 episodes were about Paramore, Nightwish, Trivium, and a French band called Eths. And today it's about Parkway Drive, one of my favorite bands since the time I discovered them in 2012. I have a Parkway Drive tattoo. This is one of the bands I've seen the most in my life. So I was looking forward to do this video. And I know I will get a lot of shit from my ranking because you will probably hate it. If you are, well, you will probably hate it if you are a fan of the band for a long time, and you will probably agree with me if you are a fan, have been a fan for, I don't know, maybe just the Rise of IRE or maybe Reverence, but I'm not saying that much, you will see later. So what is what I do for every episode of this series is I will first of all talk to you about my history with the band, so not the history of Parkway Drive, you can forget about that, but like how I discovered them, which album, how many times I've seen them live, everything, just the history, so of me and the band. Then we'll do the ranking, and we will talk about it in the comment section. Okay, so let's go. First thing, Parkway Drive. Let's go. So yeah, like I said, I discovered Parkway Drive in 2012. So if you don't know me, I listened to metal for the first time in 2003, when I discovered Evanescence at the age of 11. I was mostly listening to metal from 11 to 19 to 20. Yeah, metal and everything generic metal, mainstream metal, I'd say. And I wasn't into metalcore and hardcore at all. I was dumb and stubborn about that. Like I listened to the first album of Bring Me the Horizon when it came out, so I don't know, 07, 08, I can't remember, or 06, I can't replace things. I thought it was good but corny. And yeah, everybody around me who listened to metal had a bad opinion about metalcore and hardcore in general, and I was dumb, so I was like, no, I'm not listening to metalcore, it's for, I don't know, it's rubbish or it's bad, or I was dumb, since now it's my favorite genre of all time. So yeah, I don't know why, but in 2012 I listened to Atlas, so album number 4, of Parkway Drive, and since then they have been one of the most important bands for me. Like last time I checked on my last FM account, I had more than 3,000 listening sessions of Parkway Drive, so that's huge. Yeah, they have been very, very important for me, and they brought me, I think, into this new culture of metalcore in the first place. Then I discovered hardcore, deathcore, mathcore, and metallic hardcore, everything in beyond. So they were, I'd say, the gateway for me. For a lot of people it was probably been, like I said, like Bring Me the Horizon, or Asking Alexandria, or I don't know, Attack, or Of Mice and Men and stuff, but for me it was Parkway Drive, and I think that's why I like European and Australian metalcore more than American metalcore, probably. So yeah, considering Parkway Drive, I've seen them live 7 times. So the first time was in Paris in 2014. It was the year I came to live in Paris. Then I saw them 6 months later in Lille, because I took the car with one of my co-workers at the time, and this is the day I discovered one of my best friends, Marianne. It's a big drive to do that. Then I saw them at La Cigale in Paris. It was for the release of Higher. So Le Cabal Sauvage was the co-liner between Parkway Drive and Eventual Burn, and opening bands were Carnifex and North Lane. Then when I saw them at Lille, it was during the summer. It was like on during the week between between festival, sorry, and it was with a French band called Between the Martyrs. When I saw them at La Cigale in Paris, so it was for the release of Higher, and the opening bands were Darius Mother and Architects. Then I saw them this next summer in Colmar, which is a city in the east of France, and the opening bands were Burning Down Alaska, which is now named Alaska only, and The World Alive. Then I saw them in 2017 at Le Bataclan. It was in April, and it was a weird show because the first opening band was City Against, then it was Asking Alexandria, which I hate, then Parkway Drive, and then I saw them 2 times at festival. So 2 weeks later at Groenswerk in 2017, and lastly at the Outfest in 2018. Probably one of my favorite shows of all time. Oh, sorry, there's one missing. I was like, okay, there is something missing. During the year of Outfest 2018, I saw them. I saw them at a French venue called Les Étoiles. So because in 2017 was the 10 years anniversary of Horizons, they did shows in Australia, and they did some one shows, like off shows in Europe, that they announced a few days before. And so Les Étoiles is a small club of, I don't know, 350 I'd say, and it was mental, like no barriers, no security. So I saw the band 8 times, sorry, not 7. Okay. Yeah. So, and rest of history. So I have a Parkway Drive tattoo, which is lyrics from one of my favorite songs by them, which is dedicated on Higher, and it's mostly just, I don't know, Australian stuff, so, and sea stuff. And I had a chance to interview the band 2 times. So the first time was for the release of Higher. I had the chance to do a phone call with Winston, which was amazing. And then for the release of Higher, they did press in Europe. They did press in France before. It was just after the show at Les Étoiles, and I had the chance to listen to talk with Ben and Jeff about the album, and to have a chat with Winston afterwards. So yeah, that was so good because I love this band so much, and I was looking forward to this time with them. Okay, that's done for the history. We are going to go to the ranking. So we're going to go to 6 to 1, and we are going obviously be starting with number 6. And for number 6, we are going to go straight away to the beginning of the career of Parkway Drive, because my number 6 album is Killing With a Smile, so released in 2005. And my first song is obviously Reverence Dead. Yeah. This is a good album, but since the first time I listened to Parkway Drive was Atlas, and not like many people Horizons or Deep Blue. My taste in metalcore changed, and I listened to the album quite a lot, but to be honest with you, I listened mostly to the deluxe version of Horizons, which has a live show at the end on the bonus side, I'd say, and there is a few songs from Killing With a Smile. So there is Reverence Dead and others, and yeah, I mostly enjoy them in the live version of things, instead of listening to them from front to back. I do it, like, I've done it a few times, but this is mostly the album I listen to the less. It doesn't mean it's bad, not at all. They don't have a bad album in their discography. It just means that this is not the first album I will put if I want to listen to Parkway Drive. So yeah, number 6 is for Killing With a Smile. Number 5, I will have a lot of hate for this one, because number 5 is Horizons. Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm pretty sure I will get hate in the comments about it. I don't care. I love every side of Parkway Drive's discography, and Horizons is very good. Like, I think Killing With a Smile is like at the truly bottom, and I knew which album would be number 1. So for number 5, 4, 3 and 2, like I went back and forth for a week. Like I've been re-listening to the whole discography for 2 weeks now. Like at least 1 or 2 albums a day, just to pick up some things and get my mind straight about which album would have the place they rank on this one. It was very hard. So that's why I decided to put Horizons at 5, but bear in mind that from 5 to 2, it's like the margin between them is very, very small, so don't hate me, please. I'm still a big fan of Parkway and a big fan of Horizons. So my favorite song on this album is probably Boneyards, even though it is followed closely by the Siren song and That's Man's Chest. Sorry. It was hard because obviously Boneyards is the first song I heard on this album because back in 2012 or 2013 I was just wandering on YouTube and trying to find some shows that Parkway was played. And the first one, I'm pretty sure, was live at Grasp, the Belgian festival, and they played Boneyards first, if I'm correct, on this one. So yeah, that's why this song struck me in the first place, because it's heavy as fuck. And having seen them in Paris at Z12 doing this 10 years anniversary of Horizons in a small club with no barriers and no security, was so mind-blowing that this album just reminds me every time of this show, and I think that's what's very, very important when going back to an album you like. There is not a single bad song on this one. It's just full of bangers, but maybe too heavy. And even though I like heavy stuff, when you listen to Human Target by Diane Smart, it's just you are crushed every time. See the joke I made? Wink. But yeah, this is an album I listen to a lot, but it will end up on number 5 on this list. Okay, let's go, number 4. And for number 4, we just are going to go to the next album, because number 4 for me is Deep Blue, and my favorite song on Deep Blue is Deliver Me. Since like the first time, so I listened to Deep Blue at the time when I discovered Parkway after Atlas, so I listened to Clean Up the Smile, Horizons and Deep Blue, and I got struck by Deliver Me. Like the first time I heard the song, I was like, whoa, okay, it's probably my favorite Parkway song ever. And then I went on YouTube, like I did when I told you for Horizons, and they have there is a clip on YouTube about them playing a Sonisphere festival. So Sonisphere was a European festival made by Live Nation. The first time they played the Big Four, Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth and Slayer, with other bands, and they did some of them in the UK and mainland Europe. And I think this video is in the UK, if I'm correct. And you can see the band play 3 songs, so it's Boneyards, Deliver Me, and no, it's Irish Ninkers, Deliver Me, and Always for the Heartless. Sorry. And the first song played is Deliver Me, and it's mind-blowing to see them live. You see Luke in his wheelchair because he broke his leg doing surfing before the tour, and this song is so important to me, because I don't know, the lyrics are very good, the song is so good, and it fits well the era that Deep Blue was. I think Deep Blue is very close to Atlas, because Atlas is the album writer, and it's a good bridge between the whole days of Killing with a Spy and Horizons and the era after, which is for me Atlas and higher, and Reverence is on another level, I'd say. So it's a good bridge between the heavy stuff that we have on Killing with Mind and Horizons and the very epic and softer stuff that we have afterwards. So with probably songs like The River or on IRE the Song of Silence. No, sorry, it's not of Silence. Is on Reverence. But those softer parts in songs, not softer songs, but softer parts in songs. It's a good bridge. I think like the main thing is that they don't play that much of this album live anymore. And if I'm correct, the first time I saw them, so like I said, in 2014, they didn't play that much song of this album. So let me check what did they play at this time. I don't remember how many songs they played of this one. Let's check. Okay, so they played 4 songs of Deep Blue. Yeah, they played Deliver Me, they played Home is for Heartless, Karma, and Sleepwalker. So yeah, I'd say they don't play Home is for Heartless anymore, and I'm okay with that because this is not a good closure song in my opinion. Like, and this is one of my least favorite songs of Parkway Drive. They don't play Deliver Me anymore, but they play Karma, and I think this is like the only song of the album they play now. And obviously because this is a very upbeat song, and in festivals you could definitely like launch several bits on this one, so get that. I love Sleepwalker, and one of the songs I listen to a lot is Wreckage. I don't know why, but this song is always like puts me in a good. And that's why Deep Blue is number 4 on my list. We are going now to the podium, the final 3, and let's see which album is number 3. And for 3, we're going to jump just a bit because we're going to go in 2015 with the release of Higher. So this was the first time I had expectations for Parkway Drive because Atlas was already out when I listened to them for the first time. So yeah, I was like in this time lapse of 3 years, Parkway Drive went from a band I didn't know to one of my in my top 5 for sure, and I was very looking forward to this album. My favorite song is Dedicated. Like I said, I have like lyrics from this song Tattooed on My Arm, and this song live is like I will never forget the time they played Dedicated at Hellfest. The place was a giant mess of bodies and people flying, trying to crowd surf, trying to soap it, or it was just probably one of the wildest shows I've ever been to. And I will link in the description. The live is still on YouTube. Just watch it if you never, because it's crazy. Yeah, so a very good album, very good songs. I'd say like for the live purpose, Bottom Feeder and Crushed are such good songs. I get people who didn't like the fact that they released Vice Grip as a single. This is not their best song ever, to be honest, but it's just a fun song. And for the purpose of being live, I think this song is very, very good. On the studio version, you can definitely skip it if you are not that much into the song. But I'd say this is a good bridge, and I think this is the album that made a lot of people more aware of Parkway Drive. Maybe it's just a French thing. So like I said, so when they played La Cigale, so for the release of Higher. No, before that, they played the biggest venue they played. I think at the time they played Le Bataclan, but it was for a tour made by Vans. When they played Le Cabal Sauvage, it was just 700. Well, now it's 1,000, but it was more, I don't know, 900 at the time. La Cigale is 1,300, if I'm correct. After Hellfest they played l'Olympia, which is 2000-ish, and they were supposed to be playing at Le Zénith, which is the second biggest arena in Paris, in April for the Vivaldi and the Ducks tour with Hatebreed, Stick Again and Venom Prison, and it's roughly between 4K to 6K, it depends on the configuration. So they step up the game a lot in France. I know they were already big in Australia, they were already big in the UK and Germany, but in France not that much. And I think the fact that they were they went more into a heavy metalcore sound rather than just pure metalcore made a lot of just metalheads fall in love with them, and you could definitely see the before Hellfest and after Hellfest in France. A lot of people I know doesn't like metalcore at all, but they were struck by their stage presence, by the live shows, the lights, and just the over energy of Parkway Live. And I think Higher than Reverence made them bigger in that way. And I think this is a very, very good album. This is the first time I give it a 10 to an album, reviewing on the website I work for. So yeah, that's why the album is at number 3. Okay, let's go for number 2. And so for number 2, it is Reverence. Yes, my second favorite album of Parkway Drive is their latest, Reverence. So it was out in 2018, if I'm great. Yeah, this is for me a very, very good album by Parkway Drive. I know IRE was the turning point for a lot of people who were a fan for a long time. So people would discover them with Killing With A Smile, or even more with Horizons. IRE was the turning point, and I think Reverence was the breaking point for them. I saw online a lot of people telling that they went dad rock. No, like, you can't tell me Parkway Drive has gone soft listening to Reverence and tell me that if you say, for example, take the riff of Wild Eyes on Atlas, it is a heavy metal riff. Like, we all know, if you know Parkway, you know that Jeff loves heavy metal. He loves Iron Maiden. He loves he loves this kind of stuff. So to me, it's they knew that they couldn't do something better than Atlas on the Europe side, so they had to do something else or to bring other elements to their sound and to their music. And I think it's great, and that's truly why I love IRE and Reverence that much. Like, for example, the only song that I skip sometimes on Reverence is The Void, because it's a good song, but it's not the best. But otherwise, from the first notes of Wishing Wells, which is one of, in my opinion, one of the 10 best songs by Parkway Drive. This is brilliant. From the end of The Color of Living was amazing, and my favorite song is Shadowboxing. This is so if I could tell you my 3 favorite songs, it would be Dedicated, Shadowboxing, and Wild Eyes from Parkway. So this song is amazing. The way Winston kind of raps after the break is unbelievable. And yeah, this is such a very, very good album. The artwork is beautiful. I have the vinyl behind me, and yeah, the vinyl is amazing. The artwork is crazy good. So that's why Reverence is number 2 on my list, because it's an album I love more and more every day. So it deserves the spot. For number 1, there is no surprise. You know which album it is, but we are going now to talk about the one. One is Atlas, of course. Yes, the album that made me discover Parkway Drive is number 1. It happens a lot when I think I'm not the only one. Like, when you discover a band and you get attracted that much to it, I think the album that you discover to, so the song or the album that made you discover the band, gets a lot of points in your head about this band in particular. So that's how I feel about Atlas. Wild Eyes, Dark Days, The River, Spark, everything is crazy good on this album. I think this is one of the best metalcore albums of all time. With the likes of Lost Forever, Lost Together from Architects, this is, in my opinion, the 2 best metalcore albums of all time. So yeah, this album means a lot to me. It has to do the fact that the first time I saw them was on this tour. So like at the end of the tour, like I said, with in Paris with Eventual Gun, Carnifex and North Lane. Then when I saw them at Lille with Between the Mountains, it was the end of this era because they just released the Vice Grip at the time for like a week before. So it was brand new for us, and yeah, for a long period of time, I think for 2-3 years, I listened to Atlas on repeat. It's crazy good. Like I think there is no better intro than the intro of Wild Eyes. Like this riff is magnificent. I think at least like hearing this riff live is one of the most beautiful things in music. Like which like in clubs or in festivals, whatever. It's like I said, at Gold Rock and then at Hellfest. Oh my god! Like hearing people just singing the wohos of the riff gives me goosebumps and chills every time. Like it is something. It is definitely something. So yeah, that was it for this Ranking Discography episode. So we're going to go back in order for you. So number 6 was King with a Smile, number 5 was Horizons, number 4 was The Blue, number 3 was Higher, number 2 was Reverence, and number 1 was Atlas. And that's it, guys. Comment down below if you don't agree with me. If you agree with me, hello. We can talk about it. I'll be happy. And yeah, the Parkway is a very important thing to me. So I had to do this video, and I was looking forward to do it gladly. Episode number 7 will be out in 2 weeks, or if you're watching today, so Monday in 2 weeks. And there is a poll on my Twitter account, but the poll will be done by the time you will see this video. And it will be between Avenged Sevenfold, Epica, and Within Temptation. And the poll is definitely in the Avenged Sevenfold way. So it's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's going to be about Avenged Sevenfold. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss this. Click on the little bell to have a notification every time I have a new video out. That way you won't miss it. And yeah, let's talk. Thank you guys once again. This was Max from Max Facts, and I'm going to say bye.